Hello, today I'll be explaining the basic fundamentals for everything you'll need to know about car tires, or what's also known as passenger tires. This video is aimed to those who know nothing, but even those with some experience will get some helpful information out of this. The reason for me explaining this to you is because there are a lot of people who make easily avoidable errors when it comes to their car tires. I worked at a tire shop for a while, so I saw this a lot. I had many people bring their cars in with their tire pressure set dangerously high. These are very risky and avoidable mistakes. So, let's get started. Alright, to start, we'll identify some basic terminology. First thing we will want to know is your tire. This is made out of rubber, and it's what gives your vehicle traction when you're driving on the road. Next is your wheel. Your car wheels are usually made out of aluminum, but can also be made out of steel. Your wheels will also have some spokes. These, I guess, could be called the design of the wheel. It will be like these line patterns you see on the wheel. Then you have your hubcap. Your car brand's logo is usually found on these. Doesn't have much of a function besides some aesthetic appeal. Finally, what you'll need to know is your lug nuts. These are responsible for keeping your wheel connected to your axle. So what's the purpose of your tires? Well, to start off with, it supports your vehicle's weight. And like I said earlier, they also provide traction. This will allow you to accelerate and brake your vehicle. It also absorbs road shocks, which leads to a smoother and better ride, and it allows for directional changes, allowing you to steer the vehicle. Now, let's figure out how to read all the stuff on your tires. It can seem overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking at. So the first thing you'll want to know is reading your tire size. If we take a tire that says 205, 55, 15 as an example, the first number is how wide your tire actually is in millimeters. The second number shows what percentage of your tire width is the sidewall. Your sidewall just means the side of your tires. The last number will indicate your wheel size. After this number, you'll see your load index and speed rating. The speed rating is represented by the letter, and I'll show a chart that explains both. You will also find your DOT number on your tire's sidewall. This will most likely not pertain to you, but the last four numbers are important, as it will tell you the week and year your tire was made. For example, if it says 0823, this would mean your tire was made in February of 2023. And it's usually recommended you change your tires if they're 6 years or older, just to be safe. You will also find the tire's PSI limit on the sidewall. Understand that the tires were not manufactured to exceed this PSI, and doing so is a risk. Now that you can read your tires, let's talk about the different tire types. First are your all-season tires. These are the most common tire type found and provide the best balance for all conditions. Next is summer tires. They are manufactured with a softer rubber to improve handling in warm and dry conditions. These tires will perform poorly in colder temperatures, around 45 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, so just keep that in mind. Then we have our winter or snow tires. These are made with a flexible rubber compound. They also have slits in the tire tread to improve handling on slipperier roads. Finally is your all-terrain tires. These will have the most aggressive tread patterns out of all the other tire types. They are also designed for both on-road and off-road use. So how do you know what your tire's PSI is at and what they should be set to? Well, to start off with, most newer vehicles will come with pre-built PSI gauges. They'll usually indicate what they're at on the dashboard or give you a different indication if they're too low. Or you could always just go to your automotive store and buy a PSI gauge. They're usually not that expensive. But what do you set your tires to? Well, if you open your driver's side door, you'll find a placard on the side. This will tell you what your front, rear, and your spare tire should be set at. If you still don't know, you can usually just play a safe bet and put them at 35 psi, as that's what most cars take. So let's understand there are consequences of over and underinflating your tires. Let's start with overinflating. If you overinflate your tires, this will lead to uneven wear, shortening the overall lifespan of your tires. It could also reduce your traction, as there will be less tire contact with the road, and it will decrease grip, especially on wet surfaces. This will also lead to a harsh ride, as overinflated tires absorb fewer bumps, and it will increase the blowout risk. Now with underinflated tires, it will also lead to uneven wear. It'll decrease your steering responsiveness, and it will increase your braking distance. This will lead to a potential in tire failure and sidewall damage. The best thing to do is monitor your tire's tread depth. The most accurate way to do this is with a tread depth gauge, which can be found at your local automotive store. However, if you don't want to buy one, you can use the penny test. This involves taking a penny and positioning Lincoln's head pointed towards the center of the wheel. Place the penny inside of the tread slits and see how much of Lincoln's head is covered. If you can see his full head, then it's time to replace your tires. The legal limit for tread depth is 2/32 of an inch, and the penny test will indicate this. The next thing to know is basic tire maintenance. The first maintenance needed with tire is keeping up with the rotations. So what is a tire rotation? This just means swapping the front and rear tires. What this does is promotes an even wear of the tire's tread. The reason this happens is because the sides of the front tires wear faster than the center due to steering. The rear tires wear more in the center because that is what keeps in contact with the road the most. So tire rotations will extend the life of your tires and save you money in the long run. There are two types of patterns that rotations are done in. Straight back, where the tires remain on the same side but are just moved, and the cross pattern where the tires are moved to the other side of the vehicle and then swapped to either the front or back. This will change based off of tread wear. Understanding that if your tires have different sizes than the front and rear, which are most common on German cars, then this cannot be done. It's recommended to rotate tires every 5,000 miles. The second maintenance needed for tires are alignments. These will need to be done by a professional. What it does is it aligns your suspension and steering wheels to improve handling and promote even tread wear. To know if you need an alignment, watch out for two main signs. The first is your vehicle pulls to one side when driving straight. The second one is your steering wheel is not centered evenly when the wheels are positioned to go straight. An alignment is needed to be done every 6,000 to 10,000 miles, or if you notice any of these signs. The final thing we'll go over are emergency situations. So the first thing you'll want to look out for are any thumping or vibrating sensations. You also maybe even notice your steering wheel is pulling aggressively to one side. And you may even notice a flapping noise coming from the tire. This will indicate you need to swap out your spare. So the first thing you'll want to do is pull over to the side of the road. Next, you'll want to get your jack and spare tire. Place your jack under the pinch weld, which will look like this. There are manufactured spots known as jack points where you'll lift the car. Lift the tire barely off the ground so there will be enough tension to allow you to break the lug nuts loose. Once broken loose, keep the lug nuts connected. Fully jack the tire off the ground and then proceed to fully remove the lug nuts. Then you'll replace the tire with your spare and hand tighten the lug nuts. Now you'll lower your jack until the tire is barely touching the ground again to provide some tension. Then you'll tighten the lug nuts in a star pattern until firmly secured to the hub. And just to be safe, you'll double check your work with one more star pattern and then go one more time clockwise to make sure you didn't miss any. Once you have your spare tire secured to your vehicle, your next step will be to take it to a specialized tire shop. There, they will either recommend you replace the tire, where you'll buy a new one, or they may be able to fix the tire and send you on your way. And there you have it. There was the basic fundamentals you need to know about your car tires. Hopefully you learned something from this video, and I thank you for watching.